Tuscany, and we are over here. You probably know there's not a lot of need north, east, south, northwest of Rome. Tuscany and Rome, Florence and Rome are only 3 hours driving, and especially for our American friends, it's not a lot. But they're completely different worlds and separate worlds. You have to understand that Italy has been scattered in hundreds of different kingdoms after the collapse of the Roman Empire, and due to a lot of reasons, which are even geographical, climate reasons, cultural reasons. When we talk about a region, usually we talk about a lot of things, and Florence and Siena and Pienza and Montalcino. And it's interesting how wine is shaping a region and is actually shaping the concept of borders, first of all, shaping the concept of identity. I would say that wine and food, but even wine more than food. Think about the effect, the difference between Montalcino and the Chianti area. Who was at my tasting like 15 years ago probably remember how harsh I was, mainly against the concept of super Tuscans, those type of wines that were developed mainly based on the higher request of a certain kind of American tourism that was looking like for something that was more comfortable and easy drinking. I guess at the beginning was more about a lot of winemakers that started to produce Sangiovese, and Sangiovese somehow in the 60s played the same role of Lambrusco, especially with the American market. The Chianti that if you are older than 75 years old, that you remember was the wine with the basket around. According to some articles that I read recently, there were like 45-50% of the Chianti that used to arrive in the U.S. in those years was not even coming from Tuscany. It was coming from Naples. It was completely a type of fake wine. We're talking about a massive production of wine. Surely was kind of low in quality. So the Super Tuscan actually played the role, especially at the beginning of the mid of the 70s and 80s, for the first type of wines that were aged in barrel, sold at a higher price. But then it's been a bit corrupted with what I used to call the Cabernet society. The Cabernet culture or the Merlot culture was about the French Bordeaux grape varieties or the Burgundy grape varieties that colonized before the west coast of U.S. and after also Italy. So I would say that then there was coming back a bit, but for some certain area was a bit too late, and now if you go around Tuscany, you might have a sense that everything is so perfect and clean, but it's not real anymore. Most of the villages has been rented for Airbnb or luxury hotel. And especially when it comes to Montalcino, you have this perception that you feel that you're in a place that, you feel like detached from that place. We were there with Julian Armando and the film crew recently, and we did this documentary where we were comparing Podere Le Ripi with Sebastian and Poggiorellino, completely two different environments, because one, Poggiorellino, which is in wine club quite often, is an ancient local couple, because they're quite old, 85 and 83 years old. They run the winery completely alone. They barely have a website. They don't do any marketing. Why? If you go to Le Ripi, you have this beautiful cellar with this beautiful vineyards. It's an incredible ecosystem, a lot of videos and a lot of tastings and so on. So you have this perception of two way of doing marketing, two way of producing wine. Nevertheless, I have to say that the wine for Podere Le Ripi really shocked me. I was kind of suspicious at the beginning. And I don't know who I have to thank for the quality of this wine. More than Francesco Illy, who is the official owner, I think that Sebastian is a shy, incredible person that was able to convince a rich guy, investor, to do something was not the usual over oaky Napa Valley style, super Tuscan style of Montalcino. And also he started to produce his local, like he was able to create his own niche type of wines. That's what they did with this Cappuccetto Rosa. This is a Rosato. You probably know Sebastian from the wine Bacchanali. Bacchanali was in Level 2 Wine Club a year ago, I think. He's going to be better. He's going to be in the wine club again, I think, next year. And so somehow he was able to create a little enclave on a big winery. This Brunello di Montalcino, Celoduri says, like the typical Brunello, but a bit less oak than before. So it goes more on this kind of a balsamic flavor. Beautiful, complex type of wine, much more expensive, of course. I love both of them, I have to say. This is more as an aperitif type of wine. It's a rosé that has the complexity of the Sangiovese. On this here, you have the beautiful, fulfilled, ripe, and spicy flavor of a Brunello di Montalcino, or a really nice, tight vintage 2018. I would suggest to taste this wine maybe in a couple of years if you can wait, but even now, after 5 years, no, it's actually already 6 years, so I think it's ready to drink it even now. About pairings, this is good with more complex food, slightly more easy food. If you actually have both of the wine club, which is always something that I suggest to subscribe in both of them, especially if you have a brother or a sister or a friend, why don't you just buy both of the wine clubs so you can try both of the wines as you did before with Lambrusco, because this is entry level and this is complex.